You are drowning in your own information. Every week, you create more docs, and somehow you know less. Search feels like pulling a slot machine. The answer is either missing, outdated, or buried in a chat thread from 3 months ago. Decisions vanish in DMs, so the team rebuilds the same final answer for the 5th time. Then AI shows up and confidently remixes the mess into something that sounds right and is wrong. This is not a knowledge system. It is noise with a billing plan. Overload always sends the invoice. Moving to slide 2. That invoice shows up as context switching. You jump from doc to doc, tool to tool, tab to tab, and your focus gets taxed every time you reload what matters. Duplicate work becomes normal because it is faster to redo than to verify. New hires take forever to ramp because the how we do things trail is scattered, and the people who know the truth are busy. Even worse, decisions lose their why. You can find a plan, but you cannot find the reasoning, the constraints, or what was rejected. So trust shifts from documents to hallway memory and forwarded messages. When that happens, the organization stops learning and starts improvising. Moving to slide 3. Mistake 1 is capturing chaos. You save everything by default. Every link, every note, every screenshot, every half-baked idea. But there is no intake and no triage, so nothing gets promoted from raw to reliable. Notes don't end with next steps, owners, or dates, so they cannot drive action. Links rot, files move, permissions change, and the original context disappears. What remains is a pile of artifacts that look like knowledge, but behave like clutter. The real signals are still in there, but they are buried under noise you never meant to keep. That is how documentation becomes a landfill instead of a map. Moving to slide 4. Mistake 2 is living with many truths. It starts innocently. A doc in the wiki, a copy in Drive, a spec in Notion, a ticket thread, and a slide deck someone emailed. Then versions begin to drift. One team updates their copy. Another team keeps circulating the old one because it is bookmarked or because it is the file they have access to. Forwarded attachments become canon, even when they were never approved. Owners are unclear, so nobody feels responsible to maintain accuracy. Updates become random based on whoever noticed a problem last. Eventually, people stop trusting docs entirely, not because they hate reading, but because the cost of being wrong is too high. If you want one actionable fix, pick a single source of truth location per doc type and enforce it. One roadmap home, one spec home, one policy home. Then make every other place point back with a link, not a copy. Copies create parallel reality. Links create alignment. Without a single truth, every meeting becomes a debate about which file is real. Moving to slide 5. Mistake 3 is having no decisions. You write documents that explain forever and conclude never. The real call gets made in a thread, or a meeting, or a side chat, and the rationale stays buried where search cannot reliably find it. Trade-offs are not recorded, so later you cannot tell if a constraint changed or if people simply forgot. Old debates restart monthly because nobody can point to the decision, the date, the owner, and the why. Stakeholders relitigate choices, not because they are difficult, but because there is no stable artifact that says, we decided this, for these reasons, with these risks. A team without recorded decisions does not move faster. It just repeats itself, dressed up as progress. Moving to slide 6. Mistake 4 is taxonomy theater. It looks like organization, but it is mostly performance. You get a perfect folder tree with 7 levels, tag lists nobody applies the same way, and naming rules so strict people freeze. Then browsing becomes the work. You click around trying to guess where something lives instead of shipping the thing. If new hires hesitate to save a doc because they're not sure what to call it, your system is blocking progress. Keep the structure boring. Use a few top-level spaces tied to real workflows, not org charts. Limit tags to the ones you will actually filter by, and bake them into templates so people do not have to remember. If you cannot find a doc in 2 clicks, create a direct link hub for the task, not a deeper folder. A knowledge system should remove fear. Moving to slide 7. Mistake 5 is when meetings hoard knowledge. The real decisions live in a recording nobody replays, notes have no retrieval hooks, and action items evaporate by next week. Then the same questions show up again, because the calendar became the archive. If it happened in a meeting, it should land as a durable decision, an owner, and a linkable source, not a timestamp. Moving to slide 8. Mistake 6 is weak search. You type what you mean, but search matches only exact keywords. Results look identical, so you have no confidence cues. There are no citations, so you cannot verify anything. Permissions make it worse, because search quietly hides the doc you need, and you assume it does not exist. Fixing this starts with what you publish. Put the answer in the first lines, not buried. Use consistent titles that match how people ask questions, like how to request access or refund rules for enterprise. Add a short, last updated line, and link the source of truth, like the policy or ticket thread. Then, tune search around trust. Show the owner, freshness, and the section where the answer came from. When search earns confidence, you stop interrupting humans for things your system should know. Moving to slide 9. Mistake 7 is having no knowledge owner. Without ownership, docs age silently. A policy changes, but the old page stays indexed. 2 teams publish guidance that contradicts each other, and both sound official. New people copy the outdated snippet into a fresh doc, and the bad version spreads faster than the correction. Ownership is not about creating a datekeeper. It is about creating a feedback loop. Every high-impact page needs a named owner, a review interval, and a pause for questions and corrections to land. Add an expiration or review date to policies and runbooks. Route "This seems wrong" reports to a queue that someone actually works. Protect cleanup time on the calendar, like you protect incident response. If a page is unowned, treat it as untrusted and either assign it or archive it. Entropy is automatic. Reliability is a job. When someone owns the job, knowledge stays usable, instead of slowly turning into folklore. Moving to slide 10. AI without guardrails fails in quiet ways. A confident hallucination becomes the policy because it sounds crisp. A support bot summarizes an internal thread and accidentally exposes private customer details. Different teams ask the same question and get different answers because the model is pulling from different sources or because the prompt changed. You prevent this by forcing AI to earn trust. Require citations for every factual answer, linking to the exact doc section or ticket. If it cannot cite, it should say it cannot verify. Constrain what sources the model can use, and separate public, internal, and confidential content with strict permissions. Log prompts and outputs for audit, and version your core answers so changes are traceable. Give each critical domain a human approver for the first iteration of AI-generated guidance, especially policies, pricing, security, and legal. When AI is grounded, permissioned, and auditable, it becomes a dependable teammate. Then the work can finally flow the way you meant it to. Moving to slide 11. Here is a workflow that actually sticks because it makes the right action the easiest action. Start with one intake inbox, but give every item an expiry date. If it is not processed by then, it gets archived or deleted. Next, make decision records the default, so every meaningful call has a short note that says what you decided, when, and why. Then enforce canonical links, no copies, one source of truth, everywhere else is a link. Add auto tags at creation, not later, so search works without a cleanup project. Finally, set review reminders based on impact, not on a random schedule. High-impact docs get checked, low-impact docs fade out. When your system rewards linking, deciding, and pruning, it stops being a graveyard and starts being a compass, which makes a fast self-audit almost effortless. Moving to slide 12. Do a quick self-audit in 5 questions. First, where do answers live? If you cannot point to one home for each type of answer, you are relying on memory and chat scrollback. Second, how many sources does one doc pull from? If it needs 3 links plus a screenshot, you do not have a doc, you have a scavenger hunt. Third, name the last decision you can cite. If you cannot paste a link to it in 10 seconds, your decisions are not real to anyone else. Fourth, test your search success rate today. Run 3 queries you expect to work and see how many give a usable answer. Fifth, find docs with no owner. Unowned docs always drift. This audit is not about blame. It is about finding the one friction point you can fix and proving the change with results. Moving to slide 13. Make it real by piloting with one team, not the whole company. Pick a team with steady questions and visible handoffs. Then measure time to answer. Track how long it takes to go from question to a link that resolves it. Also track duplicate doc counts, even roughly. When duplicates drop, trust rises. Reward linking over copying in small ways, like calling out the best canonical link of the week, or acquiring a source link in reviews. Then promote one knowledge owner, not as a gatekeeper, but as the person who keeps standards clean and expiry dates real. Keep the pilot short, 2 to 4 weeks, and publish the before and after numbers. When people feel the speed, they will ask for the system without you selling it. Moving to slide 14. Your next move is simple. Fix one mistake first, the one that causes the most rework, like duplicate docs or decisions that vanish. Then build trust with citations, so every claim points back to a canonical source. Keep knowledge small and sharp, so it stays findable and worth maintaining. If you want the full system step by step, subscribe. And comment your biggest knowledge pain so I can tailor the next build to what you are dealing with. Technology changes fast. Great systems last.